Hey guys, Adam from Equip the Door here with Bubba Davinci at the Self Reliance Expo. And I gotta say, some of my guys on the team who are bow hunters came by this table and they got very excited about the Scorpyd Crossbow here. And why don't you take it away and show us what you got here, because this is something that's pretty revolutionary.
It is. We have several patents.
I gotta hold this while we're on the scene. Let me get this. Okay, there we go.
Okay, so any bow hunter knows that the old compound bows and all current crossbows are shot through kinetic energy. And kinetic energy is created by what's called a power stroke, which means the distance when you pull all the way back until it releases an arrow. Now, Spanish. So all current crossbows, basically what they've done is they've taken a current compound bow and basically put it at the front of the item.
Gotcha.
Okay? Now what that does, it does two things. It creates more weight. So because all your devices on here, so people have hated crossbows because they're too front heavy.
Yeah.
On top of that, in order for them to bend and for you to get the breaking plane, you've also had to reinforce the front end because it creates a pinch point. The last thing is you have the same problem with a regular bow and a crossbow, that is your power stroke is from here to here. So if you put it on here, your pull locks back here, you're releasing your arrow 50% up the barrel.
Gotcha.
The pro on that is it creates stability and you're actually getting a more accurate shot, but you're wasting kinetic energy. So.
Yeah.
A 100-pound crossbow, you're only getting about 90 pounds of kinetic energy by the time it leaves, and then it goes out. So what Jim Kemp, the guy that created this technology, did was he said there's a lot of wasted energy. So he flipped the compound, created the reverse technology, and the first thing it did, it increased our power stroke by 50%. So what happens is now when you cock it back, you're putting twice as much pressure going out.
Nice.
The second thing it did is it actually, it's the first bow or crossbow on the market that has a 1-for-1 ratio, which means that if the crossbow limbs are 100 pounds, it releases at 100 pounds of kinetic energy, zero lag. The additional thing is our bows are about 30% lighter.
Yeah, this is very, very light.
Because there's no weight at the front, and what we've done is we've created a single limb in the middle, so that pinch point we were talking about, it uses pressure against itself to get the flex, so we don't have to have as much weight. But on top of that, we're balanced. So you can hold it longer because the weight is now between your two muscle groups as opposed to on your forearm on everything else.
Yeah.
So that allows that to happen.
It's probably better on your back too.
Tons better on your back. What happens is the reason why most people don't like bows either is because of the pull weight. So if you take this and you pretend this is a regular crossbow, which is exactly how they're built. You cock it, let's go back to a bow. A bow, your lever point is your elbow. So you take it, you gotta stretch and break it up, which means this is your lever. A lot of people can't do it. On a crossbow, what you have to do is put your foot in, and you're bending over the device and cocking up. That means your back's the lever. If you have a bad back or you don't have a lot of upper body strength, it's hard to do.
I hate that, bad backs and all.
With us, we patented a technology that breaks away the stock.
Oh, awesome.
So it allows you to squat down, and all you're doing is you're using your quads. So now you pull up, and all you do is stand up to cock it. The last thing we did is we took our rail and we actually, people miscock these a lot because when you're pulling the string, one arm's stronger than another and you get it sideways. So for us, we put a rail guard on it, puts it on here, keeps it from not tweaking, but what it also allows us to do is we put a lever in the back. So what you do is you take your string, you put it over the lever, and you're using the weight of the bow itself as a lever. So now a 100-pound cock is actually only a 70-pound cock. So now just about anybody can go ahead and cock this thing. I have an 80-pound crossbow that we had done for my daughter. My 9-year-old daughter can cock an 80-pound crossbow because she can use the levers. And then we had Nurse Amy from Doc Bones and Nurse Amy, who has a bad back, cock the 100-pounder 3 times and shoot 3 arrows in here early.
Nice.
So it makes it a lot easier. What you would do that, you would come up, close it back up, and you're ready to fire.
Nice.
A couple other cool technologies is that for 500 years, all crossbows have had the same sort of trigger, which is called a linchpin trigger. Anybody that's picked up a crossbow will know what I'm talking about.
So you have the weight of the treasure. Yeah.
You pull this back, and when it passes the pin, it's the weight of the bow, the pressure of the string that actually holds it in place. You ever watch anybody shoot a crossbow? Is they pull the trigger, they pop it because they're trying to break that pressure point in order to release it. Well, ours uses an actual rifle type trigger. So when you bring it back and you cock it, you have a 1/4 inch of creep like a regular gun, and then the spring does all the work. So it's only got a 3-pound pull.
Gotcha.
Which means you can take your time, slowly pull the trigger, and keep the accuracy as it goes.
Side pitch or side alignment trigger control.
Yep, that's what it is. So it's a very innovative bow. You can actually take this thing, the kinetic energy allows you to go out further. The 100-pound bow, we've tested it accurately out to 100 yards and gotten penetration.
Nice.
It's actually the only bow out there that outside puts enough kinetic energy out there that it actually will penetrate a bulletproof vest. And I was just showing you, Adam, that we actually...
Well, we're going to show the folks here in a second that.
Someone fired it and actually went through a solid oak table that we use as a backdrop, 50% penetration, and the arrow, the bolt is still completely solid and usable on the back, but fully penetrated it. So it's unheard of where most of these shatter.
Yeah, because these are hollow and these are
solid.
Yeah.
In order, kinetic energy is based on, it's a physics equation. It's mass behind something keeping it continuous. But when something's hollow, you get speed, but you lose punch. Does that make sense? Just like a bullet. So what we did was, as opposed to all the other crossbows who use semi-hollows or hollows, we actually use solid bolts. And that way we can keep a longer distance with the same punch. That's why we can punch through a vest. That's why we can punch through a solid oak table.
Nice.
So there you go.
I think it's demo time.
Yeah, should we give it a try?
Let's give it a try.
So you're going to put your foot in there. There you go. Grab each and pull all the way up until you get a clip. That's it. That's how easy it is.
That was pretty easy. Like pulling up your pants.
Put it on safe. Just drop that out and take it off.
All right.
All right. Now, this bow is actually the crossbow they use in the TV show Revolution. It's the one that the girl carries on there. And she keeps it cocked all the time and then throws it on her back. And because we have the heavy-duty safety on there, it's really not a problem to leave it inside there. Plus, it has the only patented dry fire mechanism, which means it won't come back and slip back down. It'll only go down and drop one level until a full trigger pull is happened.
All right.
So let's go shoot an arrow.
Let's do it. Ooh.
Now, the only noise you heard, you didn't hear the thumb of the thing, because the end of the plane is at the end, so you don't have the rubber band effect, and it's stopped by the rubber stoppers. The only sound you heard was it penetrating and hitting the back wall, and that is 345 feet per second. That's why it was so quick.
I want to do that again, Scott.
Okay. Now, the penetration, I want to show you guys this. It went all the way through, and you heard it hit the wood, and bounced back out that much. And that's because of how many feet per pressure it did. It went through and back, and then was able to bounce back out that much.
Wow.
And that's because this had 100 pounds of kinetic energy for the bow. So let's recock it. I'll grab the cocker. Sit down.
Oh, I'm so getting me one of these. Really light too.
They look fascinating.
Yeah. So can you come out with me when I go hunting? You can do all this for me?
Yeah, I'll do it all for you.
Great.
That's the extra service that they add when they...
Bring out two so you know, rapid fire. I'm actually quite shocked at how it's not very heavy at all. All right, so before I fire this thing, let's talk about price point.
All right, price point. So it's actually comparable to like a rifle or a high-end crossbow. The base model, which is 100, okay, the white goes down, there you go. And you want to do it until you hear a click. There you go, seated. Price point of the model without the scope and everything else is about $1,349. Now, high-end bow or high-end crossbow of any of the other models are the same, but half the kinetic energy. On top of that, for the next 2 weeks since we're doing the expo, no matter what weight you pick, 100, 125, or 150 pounds is keeping it the same price. If you've ever bought a bow, the heavier the weight and the further it shoots, the more they charge you.
So this is 100 pound right here?
This is 100 pounds, and even at 100 pounds, we're penetrating wood.
That's pretty cool. All right, let's give this another try.
All right, now look, I'm gonna go show you his.
Let's go and check it.
Offhand. Here was your first shot.
Hold on 1 second.
All right.
Here was your first shot, and here's your second shot. So he's never touched this before. It's not dialed into him. And offhand, he shot two right beside each other, which would be well below a 1 inch circle. That'd be about a quarter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, while we're here, let's go ahead and show the arrow. This was a shot of the gentleman didn't actually aim, he just pulled the trigger, and he went through a 1/4-inch piece of solid oak, came out the side and went into the truck, but if you look up from above, the solid carbon arrow is still completely okay, so that means it would actually be able to be reused.
Awesome. So now, what is that? What is the scope set in there? Because we're about 15 yards, so a little high. So that's about right.
Yeah. Yeah, this is actually this was actually set at 30 yards, so you're firing about it.
Yeah. All right. So I think that we need to take one of these away with us and do more testing and reviewing.
Testing.
I'll tell you. I think the E2E team members would love this to be a giveaway, but I don't think I can do that because it's still considered a weapon.
I'll tell you what. I'll talk to Jim and we'll see what we can do. But I definitely think I can get you guys one for testing and maybe we can give it away at the end.
That'd be pretty cool.